Hello, and welcome to this presentation on the changes and amendments to Chapters 1, 2, and 3 of the 2019 Rhode Island 1 and 2 Family Dwelling Code, presented by Tech Training, LLC. In this presentation, we are going to review the changes and amendments to the 2019 Rhode Island 1 and 2 Family Dwelling Code. Our focus is going to be on what many consider the most important chapters of any code based upon the model codes of the International Code Council. Chapter 1, Scope and Administration, Chapter 2, Definitions, and Chapter 3, Building Planning. However, we will be covering only the changes and amendments made in the 2019 Rhode Island 1 and 2 Family Dwelling Code. So, let's start with a little background. The 2019 Rhode Island 1 and 2 Family Dwelling Code is based upon the model codes of the 2015 International Residential Code. The Building Code Standards Committee, in accordance with the rulemaking authority, has formally adopted and promulgated the Rhode Island State 1 and 2 Family Dwelling Code. This code was officially adopted by the state of Rhode Island on August 1st, 2019. When reviewing the code and this presentation, it is best to understand the marginal markings. Solid vertical lines in the margins within the body of the code indicate a technical change from the previous code. Two thin vertical lines indicate a specific Rhode Island amendment. Deletion indicators in the form of an arrow are provided in the margin where an entire section, paragraph, exception, or table has been deleted, or an item in a list of items or a table has been deleted. A single asterisk placed in the margin indicates that text or a table has been relocated within the code. A double asterisk placed in the margin indicates that the text or table immediately following it has been relocated from elsewhere in the code. The various markings will appear in this presentation as they appear in the 2019 Rhode Island Code. In other words, if a solid vertical line is in the left margin of the codebook, it will appear on the left side of the slide. This will assist the construction professional to identify the code provision in the codebook. As we present the various provisions, we will discuss whether it is a technical change or an amendment. If a change is considered significant, we will discuss the reason for the change. Finally, this presentation is intended to identify technical changes and amendments made by the state of Rhode Island. This presentation does not replace the construction professional's full review and analysis of the code. It is the responsibility of the construction professional to further research the 2019 Rhode Island 1 and 2 Family Codebook and apply all code requirements within the state of Rhode Island. Chapter 1. Scope and Administration will have a significant amount of amendments as both the scope and administration are specific to Rhode Island. So here we see two thin vertical lines in the left margin. This indicates that R101.1 Title and R101.2 Scope have been amended in their entirety. R101.3 Intent has also been amended in its entirety. R102.5 is an overview of appendices. R102.7 is existing structures. This amendment is clarifying that the existing structures on the date of the adoption of this code shall be permitted to continue without change. However, there are exceptions which may be specifically covered within the code or deemed as necessary by the building official for the general safety and welfare of the occupants and the public. R102.7.1 is additions, alterations, or repairs. Here we have our first technical change. The change was specific to the line in the provision which states, unless otherwise stated, Additions, alterations, repairs, and relocation shall not cause an existing structure to become unsafe or adversely affect the performance of the building. R 103.2 is appointment. This was a simple technical change stating that building officials shall be appointed by the jurisdiction. R 104.6 is right of entry. This was a technical change, adding to the provision that effort must be made to locate an owner or the owner's authorized agent when it is necessary to make an inspection. R 104.8 is liability. This technical change is stating that a building official shall not be rendered civilly or criminally liable personally and is hereby relieved from personal liability for any damage occurring to the persons or property as a result of any act or by reason of an act or omission in the discharge of their official duties. R 104.8.1 is legal defense. Here, the technical change came at the very beginning of the provision. Added to the beginning of this provision was any suit or criminal complaint. R 104.10.1 is flood hazard areas. There were a number of technical changes within this provision as seen here and on the next slide. And R 104.10.1 continues. So, as you can see, this was a major technical change. R 104.11 is alternative materials, design and methods of construction, and equipment. There was a technical change within this provision. The change was made in the final sentence of the provision where the phrase was added, specific requirements of this code, where the alternative materials, design, or method of construction is not approved. The building official shall respond in writing stating the reasons why the alternative was not approved. R 105.2, work exempt from permit, was an amendment, and that includes the following: one-story detached accessory structures, fences not over 6 feet high, and retaining walls that are not over 32 inches in height. However, these retaining walls come with two exceptions, which include all cast-in-place concrete retaining walls greater than 24 inches in height shall require a permit, and all engineered masonry retaining wall systems shall be installed in accordance with manufacturer's installation instructions. Next is water tanks, providing it is supported directly upon grade and its capacity does not exceed 5,000 gallons and the ratio of height to diameter or width does not exceed 2:1. Sidewalks and driveways do not require a permit providing they are not more than 30 inches above adjacent grade and not over any basement or story below. Painting, papering, tiling, carpentry, cabinets, countertops, and similar finish work does not require a permit. Prefabricated swimming pools that are less than 24 inches deep and man-made landscape ponds of any depth do not require a permit. Swings and other playground equipment and play structures less than 64 square feet. Window awnings supported by an exterior wall. Replacement window sash installations do not require a permit. However, replacement window installations that include a frame and sash do require a permit. Next is electrical maintenance and some gas work. However, electrical and gas work should be read in depth before attempting any work without a permit. Some mechanical work is also exempt, but again, this provision must be read in detail before doing any work without a permit. And the same goes for plumbing. Please, before doing any work without a permit, read this provision thoroughly. R 105.3.1.1 is substantially improved or substantially damaged existing buildings or structures and has been amended in Rhode Island. R106.1.3 information on braced wall design had a technical change at the beginning of the provision where it states for buildings and structures utilizing braced wall design. R106.1.4 information for construction in flood hazard areas had a technical change within the provision. You can see the technical change here, and it is related to coastal zones in flooded areas. Here we see the continuation of R106.1.4. However, there were no changes in this section of the provision. R107.1 is fabric structures and is an amendment in the state of Rhode Island. R109.1.5.1 fire resistance rated construction inspection had a technical change within the provision. The technical change is regarding when the building official shall perform an inspection on the fire resistant construction. R110.1 Use and Occupancy. Here, we see a technical change at the beginning of the provision. This change was meant to update the criteria to receive a certificate of occupancy. R110.2 Change of use is an amendment. R110.3 Certificate issued has modified item 3 to state the name and address of the owner or owner's authorized agent. R111.3 is authority to disconnect service utilities. Here again, we see the technical changes regarding the authorized agent verbiage. Here we see our first deletion. This deletion follows R112.1 General. Once again, the arrow indicates the item that was previously listed here has been deleted from this code. R114.1 Notice to owner or the owner's authorized agent also had technical changes regarding the term owner's authorized agent. R115.1 Other Administrative Issues is a Rhode Island amendment, obviously, as Rhode Island administrates this code. R115.1 Other Administrative Issues continues. And this concludes all the changes and amendments in Chapter 1 of the 2019 Rhode Island Residential Code. Let's now move on to Chapter 2, Definitions. Chapter 2 is considered by many to be one of the most important chapters in the code book. Clearly, we cannot apply the code to construction if we don't understand the meaning of the words in the code. However, since the code covers many materials and methods of construction, here we will simply announce the word or phrase that has a specific meaning within the code. If this word or phrase applies to your specific expertise, we encourage you to stop the video and read the meaning of that word or phrase, as it will greatly impact your processes in the field. Also, be advised that some slides have more than one definition. So, let's get started. Accessory structure. Alteration. Alternating trade device. Backflow preventer. Building integrated photovoltaic product. Circulating hot water system. Climate zone. Collection pipe. Conditioned space. Contamination. Continuous insulation, CI. Cross-laminated timber. Direct system. Drainback system. Engineered wood rim board. ERI reference design. Fabric structure. Factory-made air duct. Fiber cement. Backboard, siding, soffit, trim, and underlayment products. Flexible air connector. Gypsum board, gypsum panel product. Historic building. Hurricane-prone regions. Indirect system. insulated siding, insulated vinyl siding, masonry unit continued, mechanical joint, mezzanine, nailable substrate, on-site non-portable water reuse systems, photovoltaic module, photovoltaic panel, and photovoltaic panel system, plastic composite, plumbing appliance, plumbing systems, pollution, polypropylene siding, rated design, reclaimed water and reflective dust insulation, repair, roof replacement, shingle fashion, skylight and stopped glazing, skylight unit, sleeping unit, stairway spiral, tubular daylighting device, TDD, waste receptor, and finally, windborne debris region. And this concludes Chapter 2, Definitions.